Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into Kevin Hart's world, specifically his memoir, I Can't Make This Up, Life Lessons. And we're aiming to go a bit deeper than just, a typical celebrity bio. We want to understand why this book hit home for so many people, beyond just the laughs. We've got a review from the Seattle Post-Intelligencer and some really interesting takes from a Reddit thread to help us unpack it. The goal here is to pull out the really good stuff for you, the insights, the lessons.
Yeah, and that's often the magic with memoirs from comedians, isn't it? You expect the humor, but you often get this surprising layer of vulnerability and honesty. Hart really leans into that, using his comedy to frame some pretty significant life lessons. It's about seeing the person behind the persona.
Okay, so let's start at the beginning then. The book maps out his whole journey, right? From growing up in Philadelphia, which sounds pretty tough,
Definitely challenging, yeah.
through the grind of the New York comedy scene, and then obviously hitting it big in Hollywood. But what's really striking, and both our sources touch on this, is the way the book itself is structured.
Yeah.
It's not just A happened, then B happened.
Exactly. The Seattle Post-Intelligencer review really highlights this. Each big chunk of the book has these very deliberate titles. Life lessons from mom, life lessons from dad, life lessons from school.
Right.
So it's super clear. It's not just telling stories. It's actively framed as, here's what I learned from this person, or here's the takeaway from this period. It's like he's inviting you, the listener, to learn alongside him, almost mapping out a curriculum from his own life.
And those chapter titles, they're just pure Kevin Hart, aren't they?
Yeah.
Always going for that epic feel, even for small things, like perfect school attendance becomes the greatest attender of all time. And apparently, that was his first real performance. And later on, there's even one called I Got Nothing. Name this one yourself. It just shows that constant comedic filter, even on the structure. So let's talk about that humor. It's his trademark. The review mentions these kind of creative, sometimes wild solutions he came up with early on. Can you give us an example, something that shows that early hustle?
Oh, absolutely. There's a great story the review points out about him trying to make varsity basketball tryouts. They were super early, like 6 a.m.
Okay.
And his mom was really strict. So to get out of the house without a fuss, he literally went around and set all the clocks forward by 2 hours.
No way.
Yep. Tricked his mom into thinking it was a much more reasonable time. Of course, the punchline implied by the review is his mom showing up at school later that day, belt ready.
Oh, man.
But it shows that early, cunning, that resourcefulness, finding a funny, if mischievous way around an obstacle. It's kind of a mini life lesson in itself about thinking outside the box. Clearly something he kept doing.
But it's not all just funny anecdotes and clever tricks, is it? The sources make it clear he goes into some pretty serious territory, too.
Right, and that's the balancing act, isn't it? How do you stay funny while talking about really tough stuff? The review notes he's very open about, drinking, sex, getting into debt, arrests, relationships falling apart.
Yeah.
It's not glossed over. And I think connecting that back, it shows this commitment to being honest, acknowledging that, the life lessons often come from the really hard parts, the mistakes.
And Reddit picked up on that, too.
Oh, yeah. The Reddit discussion mentions his upbringing, his marriage ending, the cheating, a DUI, all the difficult things are there. But users also point out these moments of somber reflection and acceptance. So it's not just listing mistakes, it's wrestling with them.
Now, something really specific came up in the Reddit thread, the audiobook. People seem really passionate about that version. Why?
This is such a key point if you're thinking about experiencing this book. A user, What's the Hoopla, said they were blown away and literally wrote in all caps, the version to experience this book. Wow. Because Kevin Hart narrates it himself. But it's more than just reading. It's described as an 11-hour-long special with bonus commentary not included in the book.
So it's like extra content, off-the-cuff stuff.
Exactly, like an extended performance. Another user, Tammy Mao, confirmed it. Book plus extra and so funny. It basically turns it into this incredibly immersive, almost intimate experience.
Like you're getting the director's cut, but it's the author's cut.
Precisely. You feel like you're getting the stories directly from him with extra jokes, insights, maybe stuff that didn't make the final print edit. Someone on Reddit even said it feels structured like one of his stand-up specials. It just adds this whole other layer.
That makes sense. So going back to the lessons aspect, the review talks about this mature perspective that kind of grows throughout the book. It's not just there from page one.
Yeah, and that's maybe the most important takeaway, according to the review. It's not just that he had these tough times, but how he talks about becoming a better person and professional because of them. It's about the transformation.
So showing the work, not just the result.
Exactly. The review specifically mentions the parts about his kids as heartwarming and insightful, like how he talks about making a real effort to communicate respectfully with their mother even after everything, and about apologizing. It's about modeling better behavior. It shows that growth, that accountability.
It really paints a picture of moving from maybe youthful mistakes and chaos towards, well, earned wisdom, taking responsibility.
Perfectly put. And the Reddit thread backs this up completely. You have users like deadcoder0904 saying they were absolutely blown away and found so many life lessons. And interestingly, they connected it back to his comedy, saying the book helped them understand why his stand-up is the way it is.
So it provides context for his art.
Yeah, it shows the book really sticks with people, offering more than just entertainment. It gives you actual things to think about, ways to maybe reframe your own stuff.
Okay, we have to talk about the back cover.
Yeah.
We often discuss book hooks, but Hart's approach is, well, unique.
Oh, it's brilliant. The review points this out, and it's just hilarious. You know how sometimes authors put, like, a funny blurb from their kid or something?
Yeah.
Hart uses that space for quotes from himself, reviewing his own book.
Seriously, what does he say?
He calls himself things like a somewhat funny comedian, award-winning actor, professional athlete, and even life coach and ladies' man.
Okay, that's bold. He's leaning right into his persona.
Totally. And then he raves about the book, calls it the most fascinating life story ever told, and the best line, I related to every scene as if I'd been there.
Huh. That's fantastic.
It's just pure Hart. It's funny, it's self-aware, it's kind of a meta joke about his own story. It perfectly sets the tone. You know you're getting his authentic voice, unfiltered, right from the cover.
So we've covered a lot here. The journey, the structure, the mix of humor and raw honesty, the audiobook phenomenon, that amazing back cover. As we kind of wrap this up, what's the main thing you think listeners should take away from this deep dive into Hart's memoir?
Look, I think the biggest thing is how surprisingly layered it is. Whether you're just curious about showbiz or you're genuinely looking for inspiration on, personal growth, or maybe you just want a good laugh. This book delivers on all those levels. It's really a powerful story about resilience, about finding humor even in dark places, and importantly, about the actual process of becoming a more accountable, thoughtful person.
Yeah.
That blend of laugh-out-loud stories and genuine hard-won wisdom makes it incredibly relatable. You see the mistakes, but you also see the learning.
It really does sound like it hits that sweet spot between entertainment and genuine insight. Highly recommended then, especially maybe that audiobook version.
Absolutely. Seems like the way to go if you want the full Kevin Hart experience.
So there you have it, Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Comedian, actor, clock manipulator, and author of a surprisingly deep memoir. I can't make this up. Life Lessons offers laughs, reflection, and maybe, just maybe, a few actionable insights from someone who's definitely learned things the hard way.
And perhaps it leaves you with this thought. How often do we really look at our own mistakes, our own embarrassing moments, not just as things to forget, but as the actual source material for our biggest lessons? Maybe there's value in digging into those moments. Hart style.
Food for thought. We hope you enjoyed this deep dive. Until next time, keep digging, keep learning, and keep connecting those dots.